For many foreigners, coming to Taiwan is a massive, life-changing event. It's very different to their home countries, and it's quite shocking in many different ways. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about a few things that many foreigners will just never understand about Taiwan. There are pole dances at many religious events and funerals. Yes, you heard me right. Pole dancers and exotic adult entertainers at funerals and religious events. It is in fact a relatively common sight in Taiwan. I mean, it's not something you're going to see every day if you walk downstairs, but you will probably see it a couple of times each year, depending on how often you get out. This absolutely blew my mind when I first saw this. I was genuinely shocked. My brain literally could not process it. Even to this day, I'm like, why though? It is said that the presence of these dances at funerals and religious events is to appease the spirits and to create a fun and more lively atmosphere. Some people also claim that they want more people to attend the event, so they hire pole dancers to attract more people. As a Westerner in particular, I feel that although I understand why they are there, it still seems unusual and doesn't really make complete sense to me. This is one of those things that when I see it, I really struggle to be like, oh yeah, no, this is totally normal. I totally accept this. But at the end of the day, I respect the culture and I respect the religion, and it is definitely something which is quite interesting to see. The next one is that there is a long list of superstitions in Taiwan. I remember when I first got here, I had random people telling me not to do this and not to do that, and they were telling me not to do these things, but for me, these were just normal things that I would do on a pretty much daily or weekly basis in South Africa. For example, using a red pen to write my name. There wasn't anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. Or perhaps whistling at night. You know, again, for me, the thought had never crossed my mind that this was something that you should not do. However, even though Taiwan is a technologically advanced country, it is still a very superstitious country. And there are a lot of superstitions which are predominantly believed by the older generation, but there are still a lot of superstitions that you just should try and sort of not adhere to, but at least be aware of, and if you can, try and adhere to a little bit if possible. However, the amount of things not to do during the ghost month in particular is quite long, and some of them appear rather bizarre to outsiders. It actually gets a little bit confusing. It gets to the point, and this is sarcasm of course, but it gets to the point where it's like, how about breathing? Can I breathe? Or how about, can I blink my eyes 4 times in a period of 24 seconds? Or, you know, can I use my little finger to scratch my left ear at approximately 12 o'clock on Monday afternoon? You know, is that okay? Is it not okay? You know, it gets to the point where it's like, what can I do? What can I not do? Now, even if you don't adhere to these superstitions, it's not a big deal. No one's like actually going to scold you or, you know, like say anything negative towards you. But, you know, worst case scenario, you might just get someone coming up to you saying, oh no, you shouldn't, you know, don't do that, don't do that. This isn't good, that isn't good. And they might explain it to you. But yeah, there are so many superstitions here in Taiwan. And like I said, especially those superstitions are compounded during the ghost month. I can't say 100% for sure that nothing bad will happen if you don't follow all these rules, but it seems unlikely to me. Even if something did happen because you didn't avoid the darkness or something, it's unlikely there's a correlation between you not adhering to the superstition and that thing happening. Another thing to note is that many of these beliefs are more prevalent among the older generations in Taiwan. Most of the younger kids couldn't care less, but if Ama's around, they'll be more careful, for sure. You don't want to mess with the Taiwanese ama. They're tough. The next one is that you should not finish all the food and dishes on the table. If you're just at home with your immediate family having a meal, I don't think it really matters. But if you're going out to a nice restaurant or you're going out to eat with your extended family, then you need to be a little bit more aware of this particular superstitional rule. If you finish all the food on your plate and table, some people believe that this is an indication that your host didn't prepare enough food for you and that you as the guest are still hungry. Again, I understand the reason, but it doesn't seem true to me. In my opinion, it's the opposite. If you have managed to finish all the food and all the dishes on the table, that means that you enjoyed the food very, very much, and as a host, I'd be really happy Worst case scenario, personally, I would just ask, are you still hungry? Would you like some more food? If the guest says no, okay, it's a done deal. But it does work a little bit differently in Taiwan. The next one is drinking water and scraping if you feel unwell. This one kind of makes sense because it is important to keep yourself hydrated, and even in the West, we know that drinking water daily is important. However, I sometimes feel that this is used as a remedy for just too many things. Like if somebody has pneumonia and is very sick, some people might just say, it's okay, drink more water, rest, you'll be fine. You know, like that's all you need to overcome this. Now, it's partially true, but I think taking medicine and going to the doctor might also be a little bit helpful, especially if you put it in or combine it with drinking water and resting. I don't think just drinking water and resting is going to solve all your problems from a physical point of view. Another thing they do is called scraping. I'm not sure if that's the official name for it, that's just what I call it. It's quite uncomfortable and it leaves these like really big brownish, reddish marks all over your body, like your back or your neck or wherever they happen to scrape. I've had it done to me and yeah, it's kind of painful. I'd imagine it's kind of on par with getting a tattoo because it's kind of like it's an uncomfortable pain and you want it to stop, but they just kind of keep rubbing, keep rubbing, keep rubbing. The next one is lining up for things. One thing many expats notice in Taiwan is that Taiwanese people often line up for food, drinks, or products. Sometimes there are legitimate reasons for this, like for example the store's having a sale or the quality of their products is very good in relation to the actual price, like it's really affordable or something like that. But sometimes there is not in fact a very good reason for people lining up. Oftentimes the store owners might pay friends, family, or other people to line up at their store. When many people in Taiwan see this, they automatically think there is a good reason as to why there is a long queue of people, so they go up and line up as well. This could potentially generate more income for said store. But often they'll want to go to a specific store to get tea, even when they know they'll have to go line up for 30 minutes. However, there will be another tea shop not too far away that makes basically the same drink for the same price. But because store A has a line of people and store B does not, people will tend to go to store A simply because there are more people lining up there. Again, I understand the reason and the thinking or the logic behind it, but sometimes it is a little bit hard to fathom. Like, why would you want to go line up 30 minutes at store A when store B has basically the same thing and there are less than half the amount of people lining up there? The next one is the driving. One of the first things I was told by a Taiwanese person when I came to Taiwan was when you're driving in Taiwan, watch out for blue trucks and taxis. And even after 15 plus years of living in Taiwan, this is still true. It's something which you can witness pretty much every day. Now, I'm not saying only blue trucks and taxis don't drive well. I think just in general, there's a very high population density in Taiwan. You've got a lot of vehicles on the road. And to compound the problem, you've got a lot of scooters because scooters are useful, they're affordable, and they're just a very convenient and almost fun, I would say, way to travel around Taiwan. And when you have millions of scooters in the mix, it can become quite complicated. But at the beginning, it was definitely a little bit overwhelming. And even to this day, there are certain situations and certain instances where I feel like, ooh, this is pretty intense, this is a little bit overwhelming. I need to be extra careful here. A seemingly disproportionate chunk of the public tend to be a bit inconsiderate when driving. Even though I've been driving for many years, myself and many other expats struggle to get used to the driving in Taiwan. This is something that often comes up in conversations with other expats in Taiwan, and it's just one of those things that many expats in Taiwan struggle to accept. I would say that pretty much over 95% of foreigners whom I've met in Taiwan will have a negative view of driving in Taiwan. Of course, there are pros, like it's fun, you feel free, it's great, you can go around the whole island pretty much on a scooter. There are advantages to it, but at the same time, pretty much all foreigners that I've met, they will have at least something negative to say about the driving situation in Taiwan. To sum it all up, Taiwan is absolutely awesome. I flipping love Taiwan, but there are certain things about the culture or the life here that myself and many other expats will sort of always just struggle to understand or accept. Now, that doesn't mean we don't like Taiwan. That just means that, wow, this is really different, and it's just one of those things that we can never 100% accept. Okay, everybody, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.